So starting chapter 5, notice what the title is. We're still talking about slope-intercept form. So we're going to build on the knowledge from chapter 4. Chapter 4 was all about like finding slope, finding y-intercept, and graphing equations. And this chapter is all about writing equations. So it's still going to be the same pieces. It's just going to be, we're going to be working backwards. So just remember everything that I've already taught you from chapter 4. So we're going to write equations in slope-intercept form. Who can tell me what slope-intercept form is? Y equals mx plus b. So I want you to write that right here. Y equals mx plus b. So if it asks you to write an equation in slope-intercept form, what you need to do is find the m and find the b. What is the m? The slope, also known as rate. Yes? What is the b? The y-intercept, also known as like a one-time fee or a starting point. Now, let's real quick stop and refresh our memory on how I taught y'all to find slope. So come over here and just put to find the slope, the m. Who can tell me one way I taught you to find slope? Rise over run, and then the second way is the slope formula. Okay, so rise over run works when you have a graph, and the slope formula works when you have a table or a pair of coordinates. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you will never have to memorize that. It's on your algebra star chart that you'll be given. Okay? All right, so again, when you're asked to write an equation that's linear, you need a slope and a y-intercept. So let's look at the first example. It says, use slope and y-intercept to write an equation. And then it gave you the slope, so the m is 12, and it gave you the y-intercept, so the b is 5. So then you would simply write the equation in that form. So your equation would be y equals, and instead of m, you would write 12. So 12x plus 5. And that's it. It's super easy. All right, do the next one on your own. There was two ways to write this one, yes? The one way you could write it is 4x minus 3. What's the other way? 4x plus negative 3, and it's the same value, okay? All right, so now we're going to take a graph, and we're going to write an equation based on the graph. So last chapter, we were given the equation, and we had to graph it. Now they're going to give us the equation, and they're going to give us the graph, and we have to write the equation. So what did I just tell you? If you're asked to write an equation, what two things do you need? An m and a b. So I need an m and I need a b. The easiest one to find is the b because it's the one that crosses through the y-axis, right? The y-intercept is the point that touches the y-axis. So simply go to the y-axis and say, where is this touching at? Positive 4. To find slope, I'm going to do rise over run, and I am not going to forget my positive and negatives, right? So the first thing you can look at is what kind of slope is this if it's going down? It's negative, so I already know I'm going to need a negative sign, just one negative sign. Okay, so that's just a quick check. Let's start with the lowest dot, and let's do our rise. How far is our rise? 4. Since it went up, it's positive, and our run is left 3, which is negative. You must simplify your fraction, but 4/3 can't be simplified, so I'm going to leave it alone. Now that I have my two pieces, I simply plug them in like we did up here. Yes? So I have y equals mx, so negative 4/3 x plus b plus 4. Does it matter where I put the negative sign? No, it could go with the numerator, it could go with the denominator, or it could go perfectly out to the side, as long as I only have one of them. Yes? All right, let's do this next one. Do y'all want to try it on your own? Okay. Remember, you need an m and a b. Did everybody put -2 for the y-intercept? Good. So my equation is y equals, I would simplify this. It is 2 over 1 for my rise and run, but 2 divided by 1 simplifies 2, and it becomes 2x minus 2. Super easy, yes? Are we okay? All right, let's go to the next page. There's only one hard part of today's lesson, and it's not hard, it's just kind of time consuming. But this is super easy. It gives you 2 points. It wants you to graph and then write an equation from it. So you're going to go graph the 2 points. So I'm going to go to 3, -1, put a dot. And then I'm going to graph 0, -5, put a dot. I'm going to take my straight edge and connect them. And then I'm going to write a slope-intercept equation out of this graph or 2 coordinates. So I still need an M and a B. The y-intercept, actually they gave it to you right here, didn't they? I know that's a y-intercept because the value of x was 0. So if you're ever given that, that is the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is -5. I also can see that that's where it's touching the y-axis. My rise over run, so I got to go figure that out. So it's counting by ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4 is +4. And then right, 1, 2, 3. And right is also positive. So +4 thirds. Can 4 thirds be simplified? Nope. So my equation is y equals 4 thirds x minus 5. All right, y'all try the next one on your own. So your y-intercept was 2, and you could see that right here. My rise was +1, 2, 3. My run was left 1, 2, 3, 4, which is negative. Did y'all get the negative sign? Yes? So my equation was y equals -3/4 x plus 2. How did y'all do? All right. This is the next part that's going to take you some steps, okay? You're going to want to take good notes here in case you need to refer back to it this evening for your assignment. They want you to write an equation that passes through the given points. Now, you could go graph this, do y'all agree? Draw a line through it and see where it's touching the y-axis, and that would solve for your B. You could also use the slope formula to solve for your M, yes or no? Okay, but we don't have a graph. So we're going to have to solve for our M and our B without a graph. Y'all already know how to solve for the slope by doing the slope formula. Yes? Okay, so the slope formula, so everybody come over here and write. To solve for M, we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's how you're going to solve for the M. You already know how to do that part. So the only thing that's going to be new today is how do I solve for the B when I don't have a graph? Okay? So we're going to go solve for the M first because we're going to need it to solve for the B. So we're going to do, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. All right, so over here I'm going to do 23 minus 8 over 5 minus 2. That's what y'all got, right? And what did you get for the slope? 5. Very good. So y'all all know how to do that. So if you can do that, this next part's not hard. What you're going to do is you're going to take the equation y equals mx plus b. You already know. So we now know this piece, yes? Because we just solved for it. Yes or no? Do we also have an x and a y that fall on this line? We have two of them. We have this x and this y, and we have this x and this y. You can pick whichever one you want to plug in here and here. Okay, I'm going to say it again. We already have, is this an x and a y? Is this a y? Is this an x? So can I plug in 2 for x right here and 8 for y? Yes. Now that I have all 3 of these pieces, can I write an equation to solve for one missing piece? Yes. So that's what we're going to do. You get to pick if you want to use these 2 numbers or these 2 numbers. You will get the same answer because they fall on the same line. Okay, so which one do y'all want to use? So we're going to use 8 and 2. So right here I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. Okay, what am I going to write instead of y? 8. So I have 8 equals, what am I going to write instead of m? 5 times, what am I going to write instead of x? 2. And then I write plus b, and that's the part I'm solving for. So now all I do is solve the equation for b. So I have 8 equals 10 plus b, because 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. So I have negative 2 is my value of b. I have now solved for b. My b is negative 2. Now do I have what I need to write an equation in mx plus b form? So now I don't write the 8 and the 2. I only use that to solve for b. My equation now is y equals 5x minus 2. Is it hard? No. So I'm going to say it again. What you're going to do is you need an m and a b. You already know how to solve for m with slope formula. You're going to solve for the m, and then you're going to pick one of these coordinates to plug in for y and x with your m to solve for b. All right, let's go do this one, and then you all get to do one on your own. I need an m and a what? I need an m and a b. This is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to come way over here to do my slope formula. So I'm going to do y2, so 2 minus 5, minus y1, over x2, which is 2, minus, what's x1? Negative 4. All right, so go to my calculator. 2 minus 5 over 2 minus negative 4. My m is negative 1/2. All right, y'all are all good with solving for the slope, yes? Now we're going to take our equation. So everybody write this down. Write y equals mx plus b. With nothing filled in. You are now going to fill in the y, the m, and the x so that you can solve for b. You are going to pick which coordinate you want to use. Now, personally, I like to use the ones with both positives, but that's just me. Will you get the same answer no matter what? Yes, but I like this one because they're both positives. Do y'all agree? Yes or no? All right, so I'm going to plug in 2 for y, so I have 2 equals. What's my slope? Negative 1/2 times my x, which is also 2, plus b. Okay, so I have 2 equals. What's half of 2? And it's a negative times a positive, so negative 1 plus b. How would I get rid of the plus 1? Excuse me, how would I get rid of the negative 1? Plus 1. And I have 3 equals b. So did I solve for my b? Yes, I now have an m and a b, and I can now write my equation in slope-intercept form. I do not write these in there because those are there's tons of coordinates that can fall on a line. Yes? So everybody look at this line right here. This is a coordinate that falls on the line. This is a coordinate. This is a coordinate. That's, you see what I'm saying? All of those points fall on the line. So these are just 2 of them that fall on the line that we use to solve for the slope and the y-intercept. And now that we have them, we can write our y equals mx plus b. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. Okay, let's go do the next one. Do y'all want to try this one on your own? Okay, I'm gonna start setting you up though. What you need is an m and a b. Solve for your m first. Did y'all all get -2 for the slope? Okay. Now that you have your slope, write your y equals mx plus b and plug in one of those coordinates. You get to pick. Are y'all already all done? No? Okay, keep working. How did we do? Did we all use this coordinate or did some of y'all use this one? Did anybody use that one? You did? Did you get the same answer? Yes. So that just shows y'all you can use whichever one you want to use. All right, let's do one more. Y'all should be doing the next one on your own. How did we do? So y'all see it's really not hard. It's just like multiple pieces. Okay? Are there any questions on that? If you go home this evening and you need help, are your notes good enough to help you? Okay. Turn the page. This part's super easy. It says write an equation. Oh, this is the same thing. This is the same thing we just did, but they're actually going to give you the b, so you won't have to solve for it. This is just in function notation. So you remember I taught you in function notation, this is f of x. So the x is 0, the y is 5, so that's your coordinate. So you have 0, 5, and then what's this one? 4, 7. So you would do the exact same thing we did to write an equation. You need an m and a b. The cool thing is, did they give you the b? How do you know? Because the x value is...
Is that 17?
Oh, 17, yeah. Sorry, thank you. Did they give you the b, though? Yes, okay, because that's what I thought y'all were looking funny at. So y'all know that when the x value is 0, that y value is the y-intercept, yes? So really all you had to do on this one is solve for the slope with the slope formula. So I need an m and a b, but they already gave me the b, which is 5. So don't work yourself to death. If you see that they gave you the y-intercept, like don't go solve for it. It's already there. You'll get the same answer. Like I could actually go solve for slope, plug one of these in, and I'm still going to get that the y-intercept is 5. Okay? All right, the slope is, let's see, y2, so 17, minus y1, which is 5, over 4 minus 0, which is what? 3. So my equation is y equals 3x plus 5. Okay, look at the next one. What's the coordinate here? 0, 3. What's the coordinate here? Did they give you the y-intercept? Yes, they did. How do you know? Because the x value is 0. So I need an m and a b. They already gave me the b, so it is 3. So I'm just going to go do slope formula to solve. So I need to do 11 minus 3 over negative 4 minus 0. What'd y'all get? Negative 2. So my equation is y equals negative 2x plus 3. Do y'all need to do another one of those, or y'all good? Okay. Now we're going to do a word problem. And these are not hard because remember the m is the slope, also known as the rate of change. There are usually clue words for the rate, which are per, write this down, per, each, every, or and. Those are usually clue words that are telling you that's a rate. Like if I say I'm driving 60 miles per hour, that 60 is a rate because every hour I keep going 60 more. Make sense? Yes or no? The b is the initial or starting value. Okay, and it says write an equation in slope-intercept formula. Again, what is slope-intercept formula? Y equals mx plus b. All right, so we're going to read the word problem, we're going to write an equation, and then we're going to use the equation to solve a problem, which we already did in chapter 4. It says a recording studio charges musicians an initial fee of $50. So is that the M or the B? That's the B. Studio time costs an additional $35 per hour. That's the M. So my equation would be y equals 35x plus 50. Now, could I use different variables to help me since this is a word problem? Yes or no? What are we comparing here? Cost and hours? So my equation could have said cost equals $35 times the hours plus 50. The only reason this would help you is if you're using the equation to solve a problem, which right here it says how much would it cost for 10 hours. So that just helps you know that you're plugging in 10 for the h, or which is the x in this situation. Yes or no? So it is totally up to you if you want to use y and x, or if you want to use the variables that represent what you're talking about. So I would simply do cost equals 35 times 10 plus 50, which 35 times 10 is 350 plus 50 is $400. So my cost would be $400. All right, y'all write the equation for the next one. Okay, what's your equation? Y equals 25x plus, what else could I have used instead of y and x? Cost and hours again, right? So cost equals 25 times the number of hours I'm going to dance plus 20. It says how much would it cost for 2 hours? So am I plugging in for the y or the x? The x, because the x represents the h, the hours, yes? So I would say to find my cost, I'm going to do 25 times 2 plus 20. Well, that's 50 plus 20, which is $70. Now, before we move on, let's talk about independent and dependent variables. It's been a while since we've discussed this. The dependent is always the y. Did y'all hear what I said? Isn't the cost dependent on how many hours I'm doing this? So this is the dependent variable. Well, I should have labeled it up here. Sorry. This is the dependent, and this is the independent. You might be asked a question on that today. So on 1 through 3, you're just going to write an equation. They gave you the slope and intercept. So you're going to write an equation in y equals mx plus b form, just like we did on the first few examples on your notes. On 4 through 6, they want you to write an equation. So the first thing you're going to have to do is solve for the m and the b. And then right here, you'll have your y equals mx plus b once you solve for them. Are we okay? You are going to have to find the m and the b so that you can write the equation. Down here, it says write an equation of the line that passes through the given points. Now, to write an equation, you need to write it in y equals mx plus b form. What two pieces do you need? You need an m and a b. Now, don't work yourself to death. Look at number 7. Did they already give you the b? So you don't have to solve for the b on number 7. You will have to solve for the slope. Look at number 8. Did they give you the b? Yes, but look at number 9. Did they give you the b? No. So number 9, you're going to have to find the slope, then plug it back into the equation using one of these points to get that b. Okay? Flip to the back. 13 through 15 is the same thing. You write the coordinates first. So what's the coordinate for 13? 0, comma, -1. What's the next coordinate? 3, comma, -10. You need an m and a. Did they already give you the b? Yes. So you're going to solve for the slope and write an equation. Guys, this whole assignment is about writing equations. If you just tell me the m and the b, you've missed the whole question. It must be y equals 2x plus 3 or something. Okay? And then the word problems are just like the ones we did. Okay? Let me see what we did last year. I think we did all of them. They're really, really easy. Like A says, write an equation. B says, identify the dependent and independent variable. Guys, the x, whatever is representing the x, is independent. Whatever is representing y is dependent. But I don't want you saying the dependent is the y. I want you telling me, what is it talking about? So here we're talking about what? $30 to deliver mulch. The mulch costs $23 per cubic yard. So what are we solving for? Total cost. So the dependent is the total cost. The independent is what? How many cubic yards we're buying. So I just gave y'all one of those answers. That's what you write. Then it wants you to take your equation from part A and plug it in to find how much you're going to spend for 8 cubic yards. I'm going to say it again. When it asks for independent and dependent variable, please don't tell me the independent variable is the x. That's known. Tell me, what does x represent? Okay, so whatever it says per something, that's what it's representing. Okay? All right, you may start.